Podcast One presents The Lady Gang, the Hollywood girl posse, with LadyGang Quickie. Here's keltieknight, beccatobin, and jacvanek.
Let's make this quick.
Our guest today founded CLEARSTEM Skincare in 2017. Danielle is a licensed clinical esthetician and the founder of San Diego Acne Clinic, where she channeled her own 10-year-plus experience with cystic acne to empower others to heal their skin from within. Working with thousands of people across all ages and ethnic backgrounds, she quickly earned her reputation as the acne guru. Thank God she's here for us, with a 98% success rate in clearing patients' skin. One of these patients was Kaylee Christina, a certified holistic nutritionist who suffered from her own bout of cystic acne in her mid-20s. Connecting over their mutual love of zits, just kidding, their mutual passion for holistic health, the two dove into clinical research together to uncover the nasty truth about conventional skincare for acne and aging. Most acne products contain toxic hormone-disrupting ingredients, while products that target aging are full of pore-clogging fillers. It's been great to get older. Determined to deliver a safer, more effective alternative to traditional skincare, they joined forces to formulate CLEARSTEM, the first toxic-free brand that targets both acne and aging at the same time. If you're ready to get rid of breakouts and prevent premature aging without all the toxic shit, then CLEARSTEM is for you. And today we're going to talk about zits. As a former Accutane lover, I'm going to talk about my zits. Please welcome to the podcast Danielle and Kaylee from CLEARSTEM.
Welcome.
That was the best introduction ever of all time. Like, nothing else will ever compare. Like, yeah.
Like, we throw that over every video we do from now on out. Just have that overlaid. So good. Thank you so much for having us, ladies.
When we heard about your products, we got like obsessed, and I'll tell you why. Because I was always like, what the actual F is going on? How am I 30s and still dealing with acne like I'm a teenager? I did feel like life should be fair, that there should be a time in your life as a growing woman where acne should end and you should have like a nice break where you're just acne-free and beautiful, but you haven't started aging yet. And then the aging can begin. And we can compartmentalize these things. When we got to 30s and 40s and we were like, wait a second, I'm having zits and also wrinkles, and then anything I put on my zits to dry out my zits gives me more wrinkles. Like, this is a real issue and a real problem. So when did you guys first discover that we're f***ed?
Thank you for like illuminating the point of our work so well. It is so true. Like, you think you're going to grow out of it because that's like the rumor and the myth, but you don't. And as women, we have so many different opportunities for our skin to freak out on us. Getting on birth control, getting off birth control, trying to get pregnant, taking all the vitamins, it's all the makeup and the treatments. Like, we just have a lot of opportunities for this sort of thing. So Kaylee and I started this journey. We co-founded CLEARSTEM Skincare because at the time I had already had my acne clinic, San Diego Acne Clinic, and been doing it for, a couple years, treating acne, and I was already like formulating products. But the acne education that I teach in my clinic is so not common. It's, normally you go to the dermatologist, you spend maybe 11 to 14 minutes there because that's the only amount of time that the appointments are allotted for. So there is no like getting into your diet. There's no discussing your makeup. There's no like discussion of your, optimal hormones and things you could be doing to balance yourself. There's none of that conversation. It's just a prescription matching service because that's the way our medical system is structured. So we both went through that at length. I did Accutane 3 separate times. That's how bad my skin was. Like, struggled with cystic acne, face, chest, back, like you name it, for well over a decade and still struggle sometimes. We knew that like the medical system for treating acne was just wildly broken. And Kaylee, they were telling her like, oh, you have to do Accutane and go back on birth control. There is no other way. And she knew that that wasn't right. So that's when we were like, let's get together and fix this.
I'm currently, I have to be totally transparent. I'm on spironolactone, and it's a relationship that I love and hate at the same time. So having you, I'm selfishly very excited because I feel like you do a lot of work in that space of like getting people from that pharmaceutical way of treating acne and not. Do you have any advice for me going off cold turkey because it's got to happen. But I'm so afraid because everything comes up in life and you're like, but I have this wedding and I don't want to risk going off of it. Or I have a vacation, or I have I don't want to have a zit on my face. And so do you have any pointers for me? Sorry to take up the time and bogart this whole thing. It's all about me today, but what do I do?
That's a really common question, and it applies to so many people. So spironolactone, basically, it's used off-label to help reduce androgens or testosterone, which in theory helps with hormonal acne and reduces oil. So it can be really helpful, but it's only addressing one area of skin. And yeah, if you're still using products with pore-clogging ingredients in it, which most people are, as soon as you stop, the acne is going to come right back, right? Because it's like taking the batteries out of the smoke alarm. So to answer your question, the way to get off of it, we created a hormonal acne supplement called Mind Body Skin. It has completely blown up, and it starts working in 5 to 7 days. You'll feel the difference. Wow. And it basically does what spironolactone does, but in a different way and in a more holistic way and a more long-lasting way. So you can go cold turkey if you want to, but what you could do is also alternate days. You could do your Spiro one day, Mind Body Skin the next day. I wouldn't double up just because it would be too much of that same, focus. Mm-hmm. But you can also just taper off your dose as well of Spiro. I don't know how long you've been on it. But eventually what happens for a lot of women is that you need more and more for it to keep working. And then you start getting the weird side effects if you're on spironolactone. Every time I did it, it either didn't work, so they'd put me on a higher dosage. My hair started falling out. My body chemistry changed, and I was peeing every 8 minutes. Wow. So that's what a lot of people go through with it. So getting off of it, Mind Body Skin is the solution.
Oh, I'm so glad you shared your story because so many women are going through this and in their 30s. It's so crazy that so many women are on prescription for their acne in their 30s, getting to almost more than kids in their teens when we think we should be dealing with all the acne. And here we are, all of us in our 30s, and we're just what Kelty said in the beginning, what the heck is going on? We're supposed to be done with this when we're 18 years old. And that's where all the education that we've built comes into the actual root cause of acne. For example, when I met Danielle, I had no idea what comedogenic or pore clogging meant. I would see non-comedogenic on bottles and I'm oh, I think we're supposed to buy things that say that, but I actually had no idea what it meant. And non-comedogenic / non-pore clogging, it's really the same thing, is so important not only for acne, but also for aging and just the natural luminosity of our skin. Because if we're putting anything on our skin that's pore clogging, it's going to cause acne. And even people that aren't dealing with aggressive acne, take a look at your skin. Anyone that's listening and you're I don't deal with acne at all, but look and see if your skin is a little texturized, or if it's a little bit dull, or there's just little bumps to it, but you would never consider it acne. That's clogged pores. So makeup, skincare, hair conditioner all cause this. And we can be doing all the amazing work on the inside, or you can be taking different prescriptions. And if you're still using ingredients topically that are clogging your skin, you could do all the protocols in the world, the most holistic route possible, and your skin is never going to achieve the most clear it could ever be if you're still clogging it topically. So that's a big reason why we talk about both the external and the internal reasons of acne. And to make it really simple, because I was the person that was overwhelmed, how am I supposed to check all my products? I don't even understand what this means. We built an amazing ingredient checker on our website. Ooh. So it's free for everyone. And all you do is lay out all your makeup, skincare, and start with your go-tos, because anyone that's loves makeup can be
right.
60 things sprawled out. So start with your go-to everyday things, and just Google them one at a time, copy and paste the full ingredient deck. Make sure you check, because some websites can be a little tricky and try to just show you the key ingredients and try to give you 5. So you got to search on some of those websites for the full ingredient deck, copy and paste into our ingredients checker, and it'll show up any of the pore cloggers. It'll show it up in red. And you just want to double check below, because we have the list physically below for you. But that way you don't have to throw out everything and just start brand new. It's okay, it's my moisturizer breaking me out, I'll just switch that. Oh, it's just my foundation breaking me out, I'll switch that. Or, oh, it's just my bronzer. So it makes it really easy to know the culprit, and then you can easily make the switch from there.
And I have a question for you. Sometimes I think people misconstrue clean beauty with non-pore clogging, but that is a myth, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest myth that we're constantly educating people on. The word clean, it just refers to like non-toxins, like parabens, phthalates, dyes, like things like that. It has absolutely nothing to do with acne. Same thing with organic skincare. You think you're, buying something you're like, okay, this is good. This is healthier for me. It's going to fix the thing that's bothering me. But both of those words are just so vague and they can be interpreted in very different ways, especially the clean conversation. So clean, organic, those are actually some of the products that break people out the worst because they rely heavily on coconut oil, shea butter, other things that, seem healthy in our day-to-day life, like avocado oil, algae, seaweed, a lot of things that we, know and love in our kitchen actually break us out when they're applied topically. So that's where a lot of that confusion comes from.
Keltie's jaw is on the floor. What have you been putting on your face?
What, your skin food?
No. Well, the coconut oil really just got me because I love to put anyway. Okay,
we have been telling her she has like this thick paste thing. She's retired it, but there was like this really thick paste that she was putting on her face, and I think the years of Accutane saved you from not having absolute.
It's literally the Accutane. That's why she can do it.
I was like, you're putting coconut oil, like straight oils onto your face. If I did that, I can't even imagine what I would look like.
No, it's true.
So you're shocked.
True.
You're shook.
I know. Here's my question. I want to ask you something. What is it that is happening inside of us when hormonal acne strikes? Because it kind of strikes at the same time every month. And it strikes, it's coming. And then for me, I have one pore on my cheek and it likes to fill itself the same fucking pore every month. And it gives me the same zit. I'm like, we've been through this. Like, it's the same thing. And I just don't understand why that happens. And then I guess what does the pill you're saying, what does it do? Can you explain how that works?
Yeah. So the bigger conversation here. So everyone thinks their acne is hormonal because or bacterial, right? But everyone thinks it's hormonal because of that cycle. We generally get it during PMS, that window right before our period, because the estrogen has dropped so much and testosterone's the running the show at that point. When you spike testosterone, that's the quickest way to get hormonal acne. That is the main hormone. Androgens and testosterone are the main hormones, the male hormones that, spike our oil and create hormonal acne. That said, the genetic cause of acne is something called retention hyperkeratosis. Basically, if you are prone to acne, it runs in your family. It is a genetic thing, genetic predisposition, but we make more skin protein, more keratin than other people who don't even bathe, but have perfect skin, right? That's the big difference at the core. So our pores, we can produce 5 times as much skin protein as those people who never break out. So our pores get clogged a little bit more easily. We also generally have a little more oil. So a little more oil mixing with our extra skin protein, our pores just get clogged. Then it ebbs and flows with things in your diet, certain vitamins that you're taking that are messing with your hormones, and then just your natural hormonal cycles. So our vitamin helps with that because it's helping with all of those. You think it's just hormones, but we're actually getting your back in 8 other ways, supporting digestion, giving you a healthy amount of vitamin A so your skin can naturally exfoliate the way that it needs to. And then turmeric for inflammation, milk thistle for the liver, DIM to help balance the hormones, and then B5, which is the thing that kind of mimics spironolactone. So our hormonal acne supplement, it really does help with all the hormonal cycles, but it's actually giving you everything else you need that you weren't aware that you needed. So exfoliation is really important, and then removing pore cloggers. Because what I've seen in my, 10 years of treating acne, everyone comes in with a self-diagnosis. I think this is hormonal. But then I go over their products with them, their ingredients, and they're clogging their pores with, like Kaylee said, their makeup, foundation, sunscreen. Those are the 3 things that always have pore cloggers. Makeup, lotion, sunscreen. When you have clogged pores, it might be fine certain parts of the month, but during PMS time, or for some women, it's ovulation, that's when it flares up. So you think it's just hormonal because that's the only correlation that you're noticing, but really the pore has been clogged all month and it just couldn't fight it off at that time. So a lot of people find that once they get rid of their pore cloggers and start exfoliating the right amount that they naturally need to be doing, it's a game changer. Then their hormones don't seem to be as big of an issue because the real issue, the root cause, if in this case it was their pore cloggers and there's makeup, that's been removed. So now it's like a whole different world.
My gosh.
Makes a lot of sense.
I wanted to ask you a question because I have been dealing with a fungal thing that's happening on my face for over a year. It was caused by antibiotic that I had a reaction to. But when you're talking about the dermatologist, like in the first part of the episode, I had gone to so many dermatologists that tried to just say it was so many different things that I had to kind of self-diagnose myself after like so many trial and errors. But anyways, I'm almost positive it's a fungal thing. But when I went to the dermatologist last time, he prescribed me an antibiotic, like a topical one. And I broke out in the worst cystic acne I've ever had in my entire life, like huge pimples on my face because he thought it was like a skin barrier thing that he was now correcting. So as somebody that's now, I went from like fungal rashes all over my face to cystic acne, like what is the best thing to kind of like bring yourself down to zero again? Like what is the first step to kind of, if you're freaking out in like every direction?
The first thing, if it is truly fungal related, you don't want to use any oils on your skin because the fungus eats the oils. That's going to flare it up and make it worse. I would go to a baseline, like for instance, from our line, I would just use the Gentle Clean, the Cell-Renew, if you can, the Hydro Glow, and just 3 products, super baseline, see where you are. But Jack, exactly what you're talking about is why last month we launched our ClearStem Acne Lab Test. And it's actually a blood work test to help you discover the root cause of your acne with guided protocols for each. Because one of the root causes of acne is bacteria, fungal, and infection related. So within the blood work, it'll show you specifically what different markers are raised, what's going on, where is it coming from? It could be like a liver issue, a kidney issue, a gut issue. What do we need to support in the body? And then a guided protocol for you, what to remove, what to include, different things depending on which type your acne is, because it might also be fungal infection related, but you could have, just for example, like some stress and blood sugar related. It could be a little hormone related. So it'll give you all of those markers rather than just addressing it from a topical standpoint, because it does sound like something internal is going on. Yeah. We have to always remember our internal organs can't talk to us. So the only way for them to give us signals is to come out through the skin. And it's the body like trying so hard to communicate, like, hi, something's going wrong on the inside. But sadly, the medical system just isn't set up to spend the amount of time it would take to go through it. It's just not the methodology of our medical system, which is why we created the Acne Lab Test. And there's so many amazing nutritional therapy practitioners out there, different people that are really doing all this amazing work with people with acne and different skin issues to actually help find the root cause. It can spend a longer amount of time with you. So
wait, so how do you get the lab test? Tell me about that.
No,
it's on your site.
I'm like, this is what my dermatologist needed to do.
We were so excited. We launched it with this amazing woman, Emily Morrow, who's a blood chemistry specialist and has been doing this for years. So it's on our website. It's under the resources section, Acne Lab Test. We partnered with Rupa Labs for this, which is an incredible lab company that does custom formulated lab. Like doctors can even work with Rupa Lab to custom order lab panels. So we've created a custom acne lab panel that tests for over 84 markers to, again, hand over the root causes of your personal acne. It'll analyze different patterns, and then you'll get solutions for each one. And guides.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Whoa. I mean, I need to do this like today.
It's really for the men and women who've been struggling for so long. Again, we have so many people in our community who've been struggling with acne for decades, and they find us and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that taking too much vitamin D could be causing my hormonal acne. Sometimes it's that simple for people. And our goal is to give people the relief from all the suffering and the overwhelm and not feeling seen and heard by doctors, like feeling really understood by our education and making really simple tweaks that they just didn't know to see massive results in their skin.
Wow. Oh
Love it. All right. When we come back, your questions from the community, and we're going to talk about aging.
The Lady Gang.
Okay, we're back. Becca has a question.
So on social media, there's been a lot of weird
slugging.
things.
There's been a lot of Hailey Bieber and she's slugging.
That ruined my skin too.
No, that's insane. We can discuss that, but I think we're all smart enough to know we shouldn't be doing that, right? But I have been seeing a lot of stuff about protein powder and acne, and there's being a very large link to that. And I think as somebody who always thought that I was like doing something good for myself when I would have like even if it's plant-based protein in my smoothie, I'm like, protein's good for us, right? And then I see that and I'm like, God damn it, I cannot get anything right with my skin.
No, it's crazy, Becca, what you're going to say. I'm going to jump in for 1 second. You know, I had a similar thing. So this year I went through this whole health thing and I have been deep into my root causes. I mean, I had 60 pages worth of work done. And at the end of it, in the middle of it, he was like, you are highly allergic to beef, any beef products. And I haven't eaten meat since I was in 8th grade. I haven't eaten beef, but it shows up in all of those protein powders and all of those, you know, you're supposed to be getting what's it called? Starts with the C, so that collagen, so that you age nice. And I'm trying to grow my hair at the same time, so I'm taking the collagen. And what I didn't realize is that my body is freaking out because this is a beef or a bovine product, even though it's not me eating a steak. And I had no idea. And like, because I haven't ever really eaten that, I had no like digestive upset or whatever, but it was like anyway. So I love what you're saying here, and that makes so much sense. Go ahead. Sorry, Danielle.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. So I was going to say, I'm nerding out. I'm like, is it a histamine thing? Like, what is it? But we can go back to that. Because a lot of people tolerate bone broth really, really well. And some people don't. And that's because of the histamines. But anyway, the protein conversation at large. Yes, protein. What is good about protein powders is that you can add it to your morning matcha or your morning drink that's normally sugar-based, right? Like if you're adding it to a smoothie, it can help balance out the glycemic load, which is very helpful because blood sugar regulation is one of the critical things for acne and aging. However, those protein powders can have a bunch of shit in them. Like it's so processed. Mm-hmm. I mean, just how it's made, right? How it got to you. It is processed. Whey protein and milk protein isolate will break you out like crazy. Yep. Like you'll need another round of Accutane, right? Ooh. So anyone, that's why body builder, we're actually doing a blog post about this. Why do sexy people get acne? A lot of them are bodybuilders, personal trainers, fitness enthusiasts, like people that are like working to be at the peak of their health, but they're taking protein powders that have whey or milk in them, and even egg white protein. Dairy and eggs can spike acne like crazy. So that's a really common one. But then when you go to the plant-based ones, there's a whole other section of issues like heavy metals. And then what else is in it? Did they add a bunch of other stuff to it, like a bunch of biotin or a bunch of B12, which is another thing that in excess breaks people out. And Kaylee actually knows a lot more about the protein powder conversation too.
Well, it's so interesting when you actually take a look at the back of a protein powder, like, oh my gosh, I'm ingesting this every single day. And if you were to separate out all those ingredients, you wouldn't have spoonfuls of them every single day. It's near impossible to find one without stevia, monk fruit, erythritol, and all of these are so disruptive to our gut. We've actually been seeing, this is crazy, but stevia and high amounts, which high amounts equal a little bit every single day, that's just building in the body, is actually acting as birth control and having huge issues with our hormones. So Emily Morrow, who partnered with us for the acne lab test, she works with a lot of clients on fertility. And there was a few of her clients that couldn't get pregnant for years and years. They did everything. She was putting them on protocols. They couldn't figure it out. 3 of them all at the same time. She had them remove this electrolyte mix from their morning drink that all had stevia. So they're having stevia every single morning. She had them remove it, and within 2 months they were all pregnant. Holy and so now the research is coming out and showing how stevia can be acting on our hormones. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just when we're having it in our morning beverage every single day, usually on an empty stomach, or if it's a protein shake, we just worked out, our body's really cleansed, and then we're dumping it in, it's making even more of an impact. So you have to think as well, those first things that you're drinking every single morning make a bigger impact. I mean, remember back in the day, like maybe college days where you like wouldn't really eat and then you drink and you'd get really, really drunk because you have like nothing in your body. It's like the same thing. It's like you're waking up after 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. Your body's so dehydrated, there's nothing in it. And then whatever we're putting in our body is making an even bigger impact because our body's absorbing it so much faster because there's nothing in there. So what you put in your body within those first hours of of the day on an empty stomach are the most important things and really set your body up for the rest of the day and just your health in general.
Wow.
That's awesome. Wow.
Jeez.
I need to talk about aging. We talked about acne, and now can we talk about aging? We hear everything from the retinol to the Botox to the everything. And if you're dealing with a face that is feeling oily and zitty, and then you also want to have anti-aging, how are you able to create products that do both?
Love that question too. Okay, so the number one tip for everyone here to age better, water temperature in the shower. No hot water on your face ever. And by hot, I mean like hot, if you and pass the baby test. Like if you have a little baby, what's the water temperature you'd use on them? Warmish, never hot, right? So your skin, treat your face the same way. If you stand under your shower with hot water blasting your face, it annihilates your moisture barrier, your lipid barrier, all of that. And that means that you're drier, you're more inflamed, and you get UV damage faster, which is the real ager. So just do lukewarm room temperature water, like pretty much is like not cold per se, but like as lukewarm and neutral as you can, and don't over cleanse your face in the shower. So protecting your barrier is the number one thing that will help you age better. Otherwise, your skin's just like out of whack. It's dry. Then you're using more moisturizing stuff, and you never get that balance because it's happening every day. So number one tip, lukewarm water only on your face. As far as products go, the way that we formulate is so specific. There are anti-aging ingredients like bakuchiol, which is the natural retinol alternative that we love because it's non-toxic. There's bakuchiol, there's stem cells, there's really good moisturizers that are good for everyone like squalane and hyaluronic. And then there's other balancing agents like green tea and turmeric and, a host of other herbs that are good for everyone. If you can reduce inflammation, it's going to help acne and aging. So that's really the crux of our line. You'll see turmeric in a lot of our stuff and green tea in a lot of our stuff, and everything is like pH balanced. But yet the correctives that we choose to use, like mandelic acid, for example, mandelic acid is the main ingredient in our yellow serum called Clarity. That one it gets rid of acne by dissolving the congestion, and it actually does work for fungal acne too.
Yeah.
So it dissolves the thing that's in your pore, creating the inflammation, but it also stimulates collagen. And then we put a little bit of vitamin C with that too, so it travels down even deeper with its acid, co-pilot, right? And then you get a brightening effect. So we know how to formulate with the right ingredients, and we do not compromise on anything that is acne-genic or pore-clogging. So most companies out there, and I'm talking like 95+%, use the same common filler agents that break everybody out. Ethyl hexyl palmitate, isopropyl myristate, Satiric 20. They're things that the average consumer is never educated on. Dermatologists don't even get educated on this, right? But they're the most common, cheap, shelf-stable filler agents, and it's in everything. So like Kaylee was saying with the ingredient checker, that's the number one place to start. Because if you're still clogging your pores, it's going to lead to inflammation. All your other good ingredients aren't going to really get in, and you're going to be congested, and that inflammation will age you faster.
Can you talk a little bit about the bakuchiol? Is that how it's pronounced? Oil? Yeah, because once I had all this stuff on my face, I all of a sudden would start having I used retinol for years. And then once this happened, I can't use retinol anymore because I will freak out on my skin. And I heard that is a good alternative to use if you're sensitive to retinol that kind of has the same effect.
We don't love retinol. It's in the, dirty kind of category. So we just don't use it anyway because of that. But it's also very sensitizing, and it doesn't play nice with other things. Granted, there are different types of retinol, and how you use it matters. You could, mix it with a moisturizer a few times a week. It's not really going to do much, but the pharmaceutical ones that you get are gnarly. They make it so that you can't really be out in the sun. You can't exfoliate with anything else. Your skin's constantly shedding. So they're just really, really, really intense, and they can create a really bad purge and just disrupt your skin barrier for a really long time. So yeah, bakuchiol is our favorite. It stimulates collagen, helps brighten the skin, helps with that natural exfoliation level that you really want, but it doesn't create all the irritation and sun sensitivity.
I will say, I feel like I've tried every serum under the sun. It's like an addiction. The serum that you sent us, it really when everyone's like, it's going to make you glow, usually it just makes serums make you glow because there's a shit ton of oil in it, you know? So you're like, of course I look good right after I put this on. I look like a glazed donut. But the serum that I used from you guys, like 5 hours into the day, I was like, I look amazing. How on earth is this possible? And like, what is the difference with your serum and other things? I really do genuinely feel that it was different.
Bounce Back is nicknamed our no Botox serum, but it also helps you glow because of the texture and the consistency. We made that serum a little bit thicker on purpose because it has a ton of peptides in there. And most serums are really thin. That one is thicker on purpose because I feel that once your skin has dried, your pores kind of close back up. Think of it that way, right? When your skin's moist, it's more permeable. Things can get in. So the fact that it's thicker means it's actually penetrating. The actives are actually getting in and being more interacting with your skin a little bit more. So it really does help heal your skin, and the peptides help heal the barrier. And that's why you just look more healed.
Yeah, it was different than anything I've ever tried. It's awesome.
Okay, we're going to run out of time, and if I don't ask these questions from this community, the community will revolt. So here we go. Liz wants to know when to pop it and when to not pop it.
Oh, going, not popping it. So I was such a picker and a popper. I would just, I feel like that's a rhyme. Like
that's
a picker
great.
And a popper.
The picker and the popper. It's a children's book.
Yeah, it is.
The picker and the popper. So speaking from someone who's struggled with this for so long, it can be a fixation thing. Like you want to fix something. So now I have a protocol that I do to replace that. It's kind of like for the person that's trying to quit smoking, they do something else with their hand. They get a new fidget thing for their hand for something to do. So my new protocol, because you don't want to pop it. If it's cystic, it's never going to pop. And I've destroyed my face with cystic ones. So with cystic, just ice pack it right away. Ice pack it, let it sit, and let that be your kind of fidget thing to do with it instead of picking it. I promise you that inflammation is going to go down when you start ice packing it. But the best protocol for acne are a pregame face mask. So get that. Lightly wet your face, pat it dry so it's still a little bit moist. Rub the pregame mask in. It has an exfoliating factor to it. Let it sit about 5 to 10 minutes. If this is your first time doing anything really intensely exfoliating, go more 5 minutes. If you've done all the microneedling, all the things like in your past and your skin is really built up to it, you can go a little bit longer. Do that, let it sit, and then do Clarity right after, just in the area, just for a couple minutes. You're not going to want to leave it on as long as we normally do. We normally want you to have Clarity on for about 15 minutes. So leave it on for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then immediately moisturize your whole face. And do that before you go to bed and wake up the next day. And if it still hasn't gone away in about 48 hours, I wait 48 hours, do just the pregame mask again. Really lightly, about 5 minutes. Heavy moisturize after with the Hydro Glow. Again, you want to be careful what you're putting on after, that you're not putting on any moisturizer that's pore clogging. So I recommend the Hydro Glow. But it's been such a myth that we need to dry the crap out of our acne and actually not moisturize, but you really need the moisturization factor to heal. So the exfoliating mask pregame and Clarity, slightly drying, but still going to be really active for the acne, and then you're going to heavily moisturize after, and it's going to go away so much faster than picking it.
I love this.
I have another question, just as like the final step of this too, like having to cover it up with makeup. I feel like I do all the right things, and then I'm like, well, I have to go to dinner and I'm about to put all this shit back on the zit that I just kind of treated like a baby. What do you suggest? Are there products you love as far as concealers go? Because I know a lot of us just struggle with that too.
Yes, cannot recommend enough the makeup line called Pria, P-R-I-I-A. There's other makeup products out there that are acne safe, but anyone can reformulate at any time. Pria is very similar to ClearStem Ethos. They are meant to be acne safe. They will never reformulate to not be. And their concealers have a little bit of a healing aspect to them too. So it'll actually help calm down a breakout in the area. So putting a little bit of that concealer on and a little bit of their powder. If I ever have to wear, going out to a big dinner event, wear heavier makeup after I've broken out, I'll actually do their powder first. And then I will like makeup sponge in a thicker foundation on top, but at least it protects it a little bit more when you have to put on something heavy after.
I love
Good
it.
to know.
Okay, Lindsay, I feel like, Lindsay, I don't want to shame you, but we've learned so much in this episode, but I still want to ask your question, girl. She says, please, I'm having breakouts before every period right now. It is so annoying. I've even gone so far as I'm using Proactive like I'm a teenager. I'm 43, pick a lane, skin, pimples or wrinkles, but stop it with both. Do you have any thoughts for Lindsay, our sweet Lindsay?
Yeah. So the first, when someone, it's such a broad, there could be anything and there are a number of things.
She's got to go do the blood test. She's got to do.
No. Do the skin quiz. Do the skin quiz on our website. It's the best 5 minutes you'll ever spend. You'll be like light bulbs going off just with the skin quiz. And from there, you learn that like too much B12 can break you out or too much zinc. So that it encourages you to look at your vitamins. So right there, it can eliminate a bunch of culprits. It also tells you about the pore-clogging ingredients. Right there, another, right there, you're going to rule out so many of the things that are like causing it. Mind Body Skin is the hormonal acne supplement. And if she's 43, she's, at that time, rumor has it that estrogen starts to kind of decline and testosterone can kind of run the show. Everyone's different with hormones, so I hate generalizing. However, the Mind Body Skin supplement that we have is the thing that lets people not break out during PMS. Like, it's changed both of our lives.
Okay.
I just ordered it.
I know. I'm like,
you did? Wait, I think they're giving us a LadyGang code, Becca.
Oh, shit.
You need to
Hold
be a
on.
smart shopper. Okay, last question.
I'll need more.
Okay.
I'll need more.
Julia asks, and this is our last question. We've gone way over. I'm so sorry, but this is information that the LadyGang must have.
I need it all.
What are the best type of facials to get for acne-prone, oily skin? What do we ask for when we go?
That is so tricky. So there's a company called Face Reality that's they do really good training for acne. Those are the only estheticians I would ever go to. That said, some of them are kind of whiling off and doing their own thing, or they give different information. They rely heavily on benzoyl peroxide. That's just kind of that protocol. However, I would only ever go to someone who is at least Face Reality certified because they understand and are thinking about pore cloggers. So you can go into search, find a Face Reality person, go by reviews, and try one of their treatments. A microderm with a light chemical peel is what we do at San Diego Acne Clinic. Our protocols are a little bit they're just like more customized over the years. I just figured out what works. So microderm with an enzyme or a peel is going to be fantastic. If you just don't trust anyone, because even then you kind of have to bring your own moisturizer, right? Like if you go to facial, you better bring your own moisturizer and sunscreen, right? And that's not fun. So what we love to teach people how to do is to do it at home.
Right.
The pre-game mask that Kaylee was talking about in conjunction with a tool called the Diamond Buff, which we also have on our website. Doing those two things together, like once a week, once every 10 days or so, that is your at-home facial. You will get amazing results and wake up with better skin. And it just keeps getting better the more you incorporate it into your routine. So Face Reality Facial, or do our pre-game mask and the Diamond Buff that we have on our website.
I will say that when it was during COVID, I was shooting a TV show. So there was like literally no one allowed to touch your face unless they had to. So when I would normally do my facials, I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I got a very good at-home protocol similar to this. And I feel like my skin is actually much better when I'm just doing it at home by myself. Because it's like you go to a rogue spa or like you're at the mercy, like you're saying, of whatever that person thinks. And a lot of people don't keep up with the education of what's going on. There are amazing people out there, but I actually really now prefer the at-home stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, especially because, at our age, like we know our skin, we hopefully have gotten to know our skin. We know what it likes and doesn't like. And you're right, going to a rogue spa, good luck. That's like rolling the dice in Vegas after 10 drinks. It's just like, it's such a gamble. It's probably not going to go well. Learning how to do it yourself is the best way.
When you lay down and they're like, so what products are you using? I'm like, bitch, I don't have time to tell you all the products I'm using right now. I was like, I didn't bring a photo. I'm like, don't try to sell me your serum. I'm good. I can't do it. It's too stressful. Okay, wait. So, ladies, my ClearStem queens, we have a special deal for the LadyGang, right? Can you tell us about it? Do you know it?
Yes. Yep. We code LadyGang for 20% off.
Oh my God.
Lady Gang, you're going to
buying
get
that supplement right now.
20% off. Go get your Mind Body Skin. You guys will have to come back because I had so many other questions and we didn't
No.
I mean, we
Done.
can't.
This was so much fun, and we love just rapid fire questions too. It's so much fun. So
I love it.
You know your shit.
we're down.
I love it so much. We will put all the links and all the codes in the show notes and also on our site. Check it out. 20% off with code LadyGang, and let us know how your acne.
That is ClearStemSkincare.com, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't want anybody to not know where to go. This is like me driving off the side of the road when I'm listening to a podcast trying to get something right. So yes.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social at Kelty, at Becca, at jacvanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.